Hi, I'm James and welcome back to the next review of the Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer. We're on to issue 3 now. It's interesting that the cover is the same as the previous issues, which means that I think they may get a few issues with people buying them and getting confused. So I would have liked different covers, but let's see what we've got in this one. So we've got conditions, part 1. Okay, so got the same leaflet as last time. So yeah, basically the same as we got before. We've got some of the conditions. So what we've got blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, incapacitated, invisible, poisoned, prone, restrained and unconscious. So that leaves grappled, paralysed, petrified and stunned, which they're going to talk about in another issue. Okay, yeah. They're the key ones in there, probably more than you actually need. There's a few in there which aren't massively common. We've then got an introduction to skills. So quick list of all the different skills and proficiencies. Now I like that. That's something I always like to see, is them broken down by the attribute. A number of times I've gone through the book going, oh, which one was that again? And Cubit the cat still trying to get in on the act for me. So then we go into a bit what the skills do, quick introduction to them. So very short, very simple. We then start talking a bit about elves. Yeah, so it talks about the fact that they live 700 years, what's the impact of that. Talks about the different types of elves. Talks about the rise of the Faerun elves and their and so touches on their decline. So it just it's giving you a little bit of a background. So I'm assuming most players will want to use this in Faerun, or at least that's what Wizards of the Coast and Hachette are thinking. If you are going to use it elsewhere, you probably, sections like that are less relevant. So we've then got the section on halflings. Now, note there's no rules in these. These are just the basic background. We start then got a section on wizards, so we're now into the classes, and it talks about what motivates wizards, overviews, mentions the different schools, talks about spell books, gives you your wizard features for first level. So talks about things like your spell attack bonus, your spell save, talks about arcane recovery, cantrips. I know we're more into the background. This is where the background's starting to get better for me. We've got the red wizards. Now, okay, red wizards are very high level opponents, we know that. But if people have seen the Honor Among Thieves film, the red wizards are going to be instantly familiar. So we've now got a very good big bad end guy. It's giving that little bit of a sort of a touch on that. Explains a bit about them, looks at Thay itself, Thay and other nations. So that's a nice little start. And then we've got our encounter, which ties back to this, which is always nice. So again, it's for level 1 with a playtime of 1 to 2 hours, and it's the Tower of Iron Will. Okay, so this time, rather than a NPC we've met before, we've got Sister Garel, who's the young elf who is priestess of, is it Tamora? Yeah, it is Tamora. So we've got her role. She's actually sent a scout who's a harper to try and find out what's going on at the observatory. There is a lovely twist in this, which I'm not going to talk about. I did think it was a really nice twist. Again, it's not a big adventure area. We've only got 8 areas, but it's a useful little setting. So you actually find the horse outside. That's giving you a clue that the scout is probably still there. We then go through the various rooms, including secret passages. We get a new magic item, the Pearl of Power. We've also got some creature stat blocks. We've got the scout, we've got a small fiend, and a bit of recycled artwork. I know that's normally the Banshee, but we've got a spirit. It's a nice little encounter. It captures the atmosphere, I think, very nicely, and it's quite a nice little encounter. And then we also get, I know there was a bit of a complaint from some people, they thought they were actually full miniatures, but what we've got is some acrylic standees. Now let's get these out. Okay, I haven't really looked at these. So we've got the 4 characters that we had in the first issue. So let's just push these out. Which way is there's a nice little plastic backing on it. So there are different size bases, and you've got two different symbols. Now it does say that there are symbols on the figures. Guess what? They aren't. But it's fairly obvious because we've got one small size one, which is going to be the halfling. Let's put that in there. I don't know how easily these are going to go in. One thing I would have liked is if they were, rather than being the same picture on both sides, one was front, one was back. You can work around that because quite simply you've still got the little symbol on the base. Go. So that's I'll hold that up there. You can see what the halfling looks like. That's quite a nice one. It looks very much like the characters there. So we've then got a dwarven cleric. It seems to be a thing, doesn't it? Dwarven clerics in starter sets. It's always a dwarven cleric. So nice little female character there. Oh, there's still the plastic coating on there. There we go, that's got in a bit better now, taking the plastic coating off. Who else have we got? Well, it does seem to be a double-sided coating on it. Okay, doesn't seem to be on that one. Okay, so we've now got an elf. I'm trying to remember what classes these all are. I believe it's an elven fighter, so that's quite a nice elf fighter. We've got the bow and sword and a quarterstaff. So somewhat well equipped, that character. And then the last one, we've got a human rogue. So they're a decent range of characters. Bit of a pain to get into there, but once they're in, I've got a coating of it. Oh, Cubit's definitely wanting some attention today. So we can see there, got our rogue. So we've got our four figures. Now, okay, I'm somebody who tends to buy figures if I'm going to use them rather than acrylic standees. They do look a bit smaller than 28mm, which might give me a bit of an issue when I'm combining them with other things. But they are pre-painted, I suppose, which is a bonus. So the four figures and this are now at the normal price of £8.99. Is it worth it? Well, looking at what we've got, the only bit really that is any use to me there is the encounter. That's really the only bit of this that I'm going to use. The rest of it, probably not. So is that worth £8.99? To me, no. You may think differently. Particularly if you're a new player, it's a gradual way to build up the rules, because let's be perfectly honest, something like dropping the player's handbook in front of somebody is pretty drastic. Value wise, if you're going to do something like it, let's be realistic. You could go out and pick up something like Dragons of Ice Spire Peak. There's still plenty of copies of the Lost Mine of Fandalhar still floating around. You can pick that up quite cheaply. Or Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. They're all good starting points, and let's be realistic, you're probably talking equivalent of 3 issues of this. And what do you get? Well, you get the whole character generation rules, you get a map, you've got a scenario book. There's a lot more to it. So I'm not quite sure who this is going to be aimed at. Is it going to be aimed at people who are brand new? Is it going to be aimed at people who perhaps tried and not quite got there with what they've had already? It is a gentle way in because you are doing it week by week, but at the minute I don't think I can justify it. I'm probably going to pick up a couple more issues just to see what the free gifts and things are, but yeah, I can't see me going down this route, particularly since I don't know what they're going to give away in future issues. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please click on the like button below so that I know what people like and I know what to make more of. Alternatively, if you've enjoyed it and think you'd like to see more, please click on the subscribe button. That way you get notified by YouTube whenever I bring out a new video. And you never know, there might be something in there that you hadn't considered, because I do cover a variety of things on the channel. And finally, if you have a little bit of cash going. I now have a Patreon account. I'm always looking for patrons, because at the end of the day, let's be perfectly honest, it's a good way for me to get a little bit of money that I'll use to buy review items or to travel to museums and so on. I don't put a huge amount on that. At the minute, all we've got is one tier charging £1 a month, which just, as I said, helps cover my costs. See you soon.